Hey, thanks so much for clicking on this video and welcome to the Haves and the Have-Nots review here on YouTube. If you're a fan of Tyler Perry, you've come to the right place. Be sure to click that subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content on the channel. And also check me out on these social media platforms, and links in the description below will lead you to my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook group, and Facebook page. Once again, thanks for joining in and enjoy the video. Alright, have and have not fans, and in this video we're talking about, is Katheryn really Hanna's friend? Wow, I think this is a good subject to discuss based off the last episode. I feel like the biggest reasoning as to is Katheryn really Hanna's friend is based off the statement about how Katheryn needs Hanna, wants her to stay and work for her, but also because she's such a good friend. But Hanna pretty much shut that down by saying that, well, with him threatening me the way he is, and you're still married to him, it's kind of like guilt by association. It's kind of like, let's say I have a brother who, well, I actually don't. I'm the only boy that my parents had. It's kind of like, let's say if me, and I'm just going to make up a name here, me and Hanna, well, not me and Katie, I'm just going to make up a person. So it's me, a girl named Katie, and I have a sister, so I just call her Mary. Katie and Mary are best friends, okay? And I meet Katie through my sister, so we become good friends. Not like love or relationship, just good friends. My sister and Katie have a falling out, so Mary and Katie have a falling out. And me and Mary don't really interact anymore. Like, I'm trying to be a Katheryn in this situation by keeping our friendship together. But because of the fact that Mary had a falling out with Katie, it's like, okay, you know what? We can't be friends anymore because you're still a sibling to Mary. See how that makes no sense? I can understand it, but it literally just doesn't make sense. But I feel like it shouldn't be so much about Katheryn still being married to Jim, because remember, 1, this is Katheryn's house. 2, Jim shouldn't even be there. 3, Jim was the one that was threatening Hanna, not Katheryn. Look, it was completely different back in season 2 when Jim and Katheryn were trying to hide the hit and run situation from everybody. So Benny was clinging to his life. And I can definitely understand Hanna's rage towards Katheryn, because even though Katheryn did save Benny's life, she still would not admit that Wyatt was the one that hit Benny. So I can understand Hanna not wanting to work there and everything, because your son left my son in the road for dead, but you won't even admit to it. So what kind of friend are you? But in this situation, I just feel like Katheryn is the one that's suffering because of what Jim is doing to Hanna, just as Hanna is suffering due to the actions of her children. And I've talked about that plenty in various videos about how Candace and Benny's choices, decisions, they're trickling down the consequences back to their mother, and that's completely wrong. But I feel like Katheryn, it started off with her giving Hanna a bunch of stuff, like, upping her pay and having her become like a supervisor to her employees and whatnot. One could possibly attribute that as Katheryn trying to pay Hanna back for being her rock during her battle with breast cancer. I can definitely understand that. But as time went on, I feel like the friendship definitely grew. And then it's just, the fact that it went from, okay, I owe Hanna my life, so I'm just going to keep giving her gifts. I feel like it went from that to, okay, Hanna, you are definitely in a bind. You lost your house, you don't have a car and stuff like that. And she's trying to give Hanna this stuff. I can see why Hanna would be reluctant to take those things, especially after the midst of the hit and run situation. But after season 2, that kind of cooled out. But, now it's like, I'm giving you a house to stay in and whatnot. And Hanna has gone through so much. I feel like Katheryn, her best gifts to Hanna was being there and telling her shit that she needed to hear, even when she didn't want to hear, like at the end of last season, where it's like, look, you're a God-fearing woman and you're a Christian and you pray, but how do you know you rejecting what I want to give you is the blessing that you actually need? I feel like, and especially, like with Katheryn being at the hospital after Quincy Jr. died and everything. So I feel like Katheryn has definitely been a great friend to Hanna. The one thing about it, and I will say this much, I feel like in a lot of ways, Katheryn is a better friend than Hanna, in some respects, not all. I feel like Katheryn, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's been a point where she's ever thrown away the friendship. I mean, like, even in the midst of not admitting that her son hit her son, Benny hit Wyatt hit Benny, she still was there for Hanna, even when Hanna wanted nothing to do with her. Because remember, if Katheryn didn't step in and take Benny out of that hospital, he would have died. Remember, he went from the county hospital, Mercy Hospital. If Katheryn did not back off like Hanna wanted her to, Benny would be dead. But then in this situation, I mean, keep in mind that Hanna's daughter has done a lot of damage. I'm not saying the cries were perfect. We all know that wasn't true. But I'm just feeling, look at all the damage that Hanna's daughter has done to that family. From the extortion to the affairs to manipulating their daughter and stuff like that. She has done a lot of damage to the Crier family. But in spite of that, Katheryn has never judged Hanna based off of Candace's actions. She's always been there. But look at it this way. Hanna lashing out, and then, like she said, hey, this has nothing to do with you, I know, but at the same time, I can't be here because he's here. I can understand that. Like, who wants to go to work and be harassed every day? Like, I know there are people like that, right, who are listening to this video. I'm not talking like sexual harassment or whatnot, but you have a boss or a person at work who is just a complete asshole, but you got to go because you got to work. But with Hanna, it's kind of like, you know what, Katheryn, even though your son didn't sign those documents, Katheryn was by your side. Like, look, I trust that you're going to handle the situation and stuff like that, because honestly, Hanna isn't going to do anything with that money except try to get it back. Katheryn didn't give up on her. I feel like Hanna is like a good friend who will be in your corner, but when things get look, it's like Hannah's there for you whenever you're going through some shit. Like, no matter what, she's going to be there. But when things start to get bad for her, she's going to jump out of that friendship, that relationship, or whatever. I feel like Hanna needs to reevaluate herself. Keep in mind that I've just noticed every Tuesday more and more people, not just in my comment section on videos and online, but when I'm looking at Facebook groups and tweets, people just talk about how Hannah's annoying. I'm sick of her. I'm not saying I'm annoyed or sick of Hanna. I just feel like she does overreact sometimes, but I don't feel like, I'm not going to sit up here and hate her like I do with Candace. Trust and believe I do, but still, that's well-deserved hate when you really think about it. But I feel like Katheryn is definitely Hanna's friend, and Hanna just needs to dial it down a few notches, in my opinion. But on my end, I don't feel like there's any doubt that Katheryn is a friend. Like I said, the only time there was some real friction there was when Wyatt hit Benny, and I think it was more about a mother protecting her son rather than being a friend, because she was still a friend by saving Benny's life, but at the same time, that was kind of, wrong for her not to admit the truth. But that's just my thoughts on that. So I don't want to dive in too much deeper with this, but I feel like I mentioned this in my video about Hanna killing Jim, possibly. I feel like Katheryn's reaction to that, because remember, Hanna was saying like, if he does something to my son, I don't know. I like the way she was talking about, oh shit, she might actually do something. It's like, I imagine if Hanna did something to Jim, maybe it doesn't have to be necessarily killing, but having something done to him, I feel like Katheryn's reaction to that will be a lot less than, let's say, if Katheryn did something to Candace, who really deserves what's coming to her. Can you imagine? Because Hanna won't even allow Katheryn to call her daughter a hoe after everything she's done to the Crier family. But at the same time, it's just like, oh, well, your son hit my son, so I don't want to have anything to do with you in the family. See what I mean? She's I feel like fickle and hypocritical. Those are the two things I feel like define Hanna's character the best. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you kind of agree with me here, where at the end of the day, Katheryn definitely seems to be a better friend than Hanna? And just to wrap things up, because I do believe I mentioned this at the tail end of the Hanna Jim video, Hanna throwing everything away. It's just like, you see her husband, how she, well, Derek wasn't there, but how her husband just treated me. What if she gets into a state like that where she lashes out at me and wants to kick me out of the house, take the car, fire me, take the money and everything? I want to quit before that ever happens. That's exactly what Benny used as a rationale for borrowing money from the Malones at the beginning of the season. Look, I got to get this tow truck, make this money so we can get out of here, because, man, these people, you know how these people are, they'll get mad and kick us out on the street. That's exactly what Benny said, when it came to borrowing the money from the Malones quick, fast, and in a hurry. Just like Hanna's like, you know what, the way he just treated me, threatened me, I need to leave with this while I can. I can definitely see the rationale, but at the same time, Derek was right. It's like you need to take a deep breath and calm down. So hopefully next week we'll see that. But let me know your thoughts on this friendship. I definitely feel like Katherine, definitely the better friend. Put it to a vote. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll talk to you all soon.